morning.
Good morning.
We're up bright and early.
I know. Early start, as we love.
Yes. Madeline, we're so happy to have you here. I'm excited to kind of unpack this first day. Like, we've had a tremendous time, so much content, so many launches, and I want to know what you want to know.
I have so many questions. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat all things creator economy. I think even just judging by yesterday, we've kind of gotten a sense of the sheer size and impact of the creator economy on the retail industry, and it's obviously changed dramatically since LTK's early days. But what would you say has been the biggest shift in the past year? Because I feel like even in the last 12 months, things have changed.
They have entirely. I think about the chapters of where we have built our communities, and I think that the theme around community has been one of the largest here at LTKCon, and it's something that everyone came in the room with thinking about as well. I think about the blogging days and like desktop, and then that move into mobile and to social, and that's where we spent the last decade of our time building our businesses, putting all of our content, reaching our communities. And now there's another huge shift as the platforms that we've built our communities on have turned into interest-based platforms. So still a very useful, critical part of the ecosystem in the creator economy, but serving a very different purpose today. And so our creators are now focused on where can they retain, nurture, and grow their community and reach them, and then using social media platforms to find new people to join.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to talk some more about kind of what this shift means for creators and community, because again, as you've said, over the course of the conference, like you've really gotten a sense of the importance of community for both creators and their audiences. But if these platforms are promoting interests over people and users are kind of congregating based on interest, how do creators cultivate community today?
Right. Well, you think about just like, I try to boil things down to the offline version. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted someone to spend time with me, I would acknowledge them. I would tell them like how I wanted to spend time together. I would provide value to them and invite them to a place that they would want to return to. I think about just like hosting, honestly, a friend at your home or hosting a dinner party or anything else is, using their time well, and I want to invite them into a Disney World experience. And so as creators are thinking about how they get those communities, to move with them yet again, which by the way, it's worth noting that almost every 2 years, there's a major platform of scale, and that's happened really since 2010. And so whether you're talking about what was Twitter and Facebook before, and then blogging, and then of course Pinterest, Instagram, Snap, TikTok, creators have gotten really good at transferring their community, and communities have also become interested in following those creators to the next best place. I think the way that you win attention of anyone is to provide the better experience, and that's what our creators are really equipped to do. They now have the technology and platform to do what they've set out to do, and they're not having to use rented space for that anymore.
Yeah, I think the concept of rented space is really interesting and kind of touches on that algorithmic anxiety that I think we all feel, whether we're kind of an audience member, a user, or a creator. When you don't understand the algorithm, how can you sort of hack it and use it to your best advantage?
I'll say, just to acknowledge this point further, really TikTok was the first time that we saw a meaningful mobile social platform with an interest-based feed. And so TikTok has been really consequential, whether it stays, goes, or whatever happens with it. It's changed the paradigm of social media, and it proved out that people would spend more time. And as an ad-based model, social media platforms need people to spend more time. And yesterday we had a large conversation with creators about holding up signs saying that your views are what matters. And I shared with the room, don't lose the plot, because the plot is having a reachable community that's engaged with you and has high trust. And that's how you win. We use the analogy of a race. If you're a runner, and everyone knows that the point of being a runner is finishing first when you're running a race. But if the race organizers start to hold up signs that say it's the most people who see you run, it's not who finishes first, that might serve their purposes. But you as a runner, if you want to be sponsored by Nike and Hoka and Lulu and whoever else, then you know that you actually have to achieve the goal that they want you to achieve.
Right.
And that's the same thing in the creator economy. So that has become really consequential in that shift. I relate it to linear television. So you can think about there's one channel, there's maybe content that you didn't ask for with talent you don't know. It's interesting, you're spending more time, but people are also, while they're while the reports are that they're spending more time, there's less satisfaction. And I deeply believe that there is a human need to connect with other people, especially in the time that we're living in now, post-pandemic. And our creators solve that problem. They are the expert, the older friend, the best friend. And it's a really positive place where you can join a community that you feel seen and like you are being given value. You're able to be your best self by what you're being served.
Yeah, I think that concept of kind of being a best friend, being an older sister is really key. And no matter what you're being told by kind of the powers that be, and there is real value in that, and I think that comes through. And in terms of sort of community engagement, I know you and I have spoken about the importance of video, and I know that's been a large investment for LTK, and it feels like, again, in recent years, that's shifted from a nice to have to really the crux of success for creators. I wondered if you could speak a little bit about the importance of video beyond the fact that it's pushed by these algorithms, but kind of as a community building facilitator.
Right. I can think of no better way to spend time with my audience than to do it through video, because your personality comes through. And that's, I think, how you do build relationships with people. Also, video allows for more time. So since we've launched new tools, we launched something called Daily Drops, where we pull our creators' videos they've published in the last 24 hours, and we give them larger distribution on the homepage of the app. And then also we've launched full bleed, full screen video on their profile, which launches into their own channel. So I go to my favorite creators now, I click into that, and I can actually watch endlessly, and the results are phenomenal. We see that it's between 70 and 80% more people are now watching creator video in the LTK app in the last month.
Wow.
Between 70 and 80% are actually, and then the engagement is up between 70 and 80%. We now have a huge cohort, about 35% of people who are watching over 5 minutes of a creator's channel, and it's just by reformatting. But I can think of no better way, like when you compare looking at static images or a collage or flat lays to try and interpret who someone is versus seeing them talk to you on screen, it's just you go so much deeper and it feels like they're really part of your room or your life, like you're on FaceTime with them. Mm-hmm. And so that tool has been really powerful for community building. It's honestly, it's probably our largest focus is as we try to equip creators to bring people home.
Right, which is a big change from, again, kind of the earlier iterations.
Huge change, and the experience is phenomenal. I'm really excited about it, and our creators do this every day. Like, it's not a new skill that we're asking them to create. It's really just equipping them with formats that customers love and that make their lives easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that leads me nicely into something else I wanted to talk about, which is I know platforms like LTK are where creators can go to find tools to sort of enhance their experience and their work. And I know you announced a few new offerings this week, so I wondered if you could just walk us through these quickly and kind of get into why now was the right time to launch these new tools.
Yeah. It's an insanely exciting time to be a creator and to be as part of the creator economy. I shared that, I think of commerce, and we sit in the intersection of commerce, media, and advertising. But as you think about commerce specifically, which is like the outcome of these communities being so engaged, I think about, chapter 1, products on grids on pages, you can check out and buy things. Chapter 2, it's the democratization of selling. It's the Shopifys of the world. Anyone can now sell anything online today. Mm-hmm. And now we are squarely in chapter 3, which is community-based buying. So you're finding an expert, it's creator commerce. You're finding someone that you trust in the category that you're shopping in, and it's culturally fully adopted. We are like at scale with that. Most generations, actually every generation, the majority of that generation now self-reports that they are shopping from creators. So this is not a unique thing. So now that we're there and we've arrived, people will buy $5 billion from LTK creators just on the platform this year. The technology is also caught up in a way that can just make this blast into space, and that's what I'm so excited about. LTK has 14 years of first-party information about our creators, the things that they do, the things that their shoppers love and that they're buying. We have 7 million pieces of content created, original content created on our platform every year. And what we've been able to do is now, like, for example, we launched a suite of AI tools yesterday, which I'm thrilled about. When we think about what our creators need right now, the community piece, but how do they spend more time with community? It's by spending less time creating content. And so our Copilot tool is incredible. It's now auto-tagging products for creators. We've been able to train on their images and say, oh, Amber, it looks like you're wearing this outfit today. I'm like, thank you, yes, please. And I'm actually able to caption in 5 seconds using my voice record, and then it's off, it's shipped. It's actually faster now for me to ship it than for me to send it to my assistant and say, please do this, and then here's the caption for it. Like, we are the assistant. We also released what I'm calling pay transparency. So there are 8,000 retailers on the LTK platform. There's a lot of overlap in the products that they sell. So we are serving up immediately for our creators now when someone sells the same product across multiple retailers, giving them all the information about those options, like what are they paying, coming soon, what are their payment terms, do they have app-to-app tracking? Basically, what's the quality of this partner that you're choosing? And those sorts of things run businesses ahead. It also gives new brands new opportunities. I love a meritocracy. I'm big on that, and all the tools that we're equipping with do that. I'm going to give you one more thing, and then I'll breathe. Is our Match AI tool, which is I'm so excited, guys. Okay, so the Match AI tool, basically what we're looking at is all of this body of information that we uniquely have that's proprietary to LTK, and then when brands come in, they're giving us their goals, and we're actually spitting out for them, hey, here's who you need to work with, based on all of these millions of data points. And what's so cool is about 60% of the creators that we serve to them to fill their campaigns are creators they have never worked with before. And I love that because we're removing the subjectivity, we're removing the latency of campaigns. Last year, we actually were able to triple the number of campaigns that we're doing. We're doing 44,000 campaigns a year. It's insane, the volume. And so the tech stack that we have, our team has done a phenomenal job. We've grown from 300 to 800, and we're creating AI that moves industry, not just that's fun to play with.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really key because obviously AI is a hot topic at the moment. How long have you been working on these AI tools? Because I think it's something that, again, over the past year, we've all been talking about so much and focusing on so much, but I imagine they've been in the works for far longer.
Yeah, organizing the data is a big deal. And so I think that foundationally, it took a minute to get there. Of course, hiring the right team and talent to be able to bring this to life. We, of course, went to market and surveyed the talent that was around and the companies that were doing things in this space. Last year, everyone was talking about AI, but I would say there was a lot of whimsical examples of how it might be used. But I think what we found was that we intimately understand what can solve people's problems, and so we decided to build in-house. And I mean, we've been full tilt, all in. This has been our vision. We announced this vision last year at LTKCon, and this year we said, here it all is. And it was like Star Wars scrolling the page of all of the things that we launched inside of our AI enhanced and Copilot tools.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think we've kind of touched on this, but beyond these new features, the impact of AI on the creator economy has been sort of a big point of discussion. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts about the role that it will play, even beyond just kind of these organizational tools, because I think there's a lot of intrigue, but also some anxiety. How are you kind of thinking about the role of AI on the industry?
At LTK, our focus is how do we make our customers more efficient and optimize their business? And so it will always be tooled for the better outcome of our clients' businesses. Both on the brand creator side and then even on the shopper side. All of our search surfaces, for example, right now are all AI enhanced. So your search experience is gonna be different from someone else's, giving you that best-in-class experience. Outside of LTK, the world's not so rosy. They're not so pro-creator. I was really excited this week to see Amy Klobuchar send a letter to the general Attorney General, the FTC, copying and copyright. I think copyright actually should have been not the CC. It should have actually been also addressed there because, candidly, copyright law is behind when it comes to creators. I was happy to see the acknowledgement, but what I see in market today, right now, and I'm looking at the audience because I feel very passionate about this, is that creator work is being used without the permission and without the benefit of that creator. I can tell you 2 places right now where someone's telling you to massive, big tech, this is a huge problem. When you're encouraging customers to look at my content and then you're telling them where to go shopping and you've monetized my content because copyright law is behind and I haven't had the time or money to protect it before you go monetize it, I have a huge problem with that. Amy, let's lock arms and get crazy. I'm excited, let's do this. And then, there are other companies who are also passively monetizing. Oh, you searched Amber's Nursery? Here's all the cribs. And guess what? I paid someone to paint that room. I paid an interior designer to do it. I paid for the photography. I'm the one who had the blog that people went to. So I have a real problem with what's happening outside of LTK, but I'm really excited to see the attention. I think from whether it's this administration or whatever our future administration is, we are excited and happy to work with them to solve some of these problems because this industry is new and it's female and it's being taken advantage of, and I'm feeling rowdy.
Clearly that resonates. No, I think it is a big point of contention and it is sort of such an issue in a nascent industry, well, relatively nascent. And beyond regulation, which I'm excited to hear is going to be a big focus for the next year, what are some more of your sort of predictions, expectations for the creator economy in the year ahead?
Well, we work with Northwestern to do a lot of our study work, and our brands are actually reporting that 94% of them are expecting to spend more in the coming year on creator marketing. I think you're seeing the rotation of spend from whether it's out of home, linear television, other digital, into creator. The reason that happens is because they have communities that trust them, and they are seen as the expert, the source, the older friend, the best sister. And the best sister, not the only sister, the nicer, cooler sister. And they, there's a high trust environment there. And so that's why it's more effective and impactful than the other things that you can do as a brand on your own. And so accessing a creator as the authority amongst their group just gets you to the end goal faster. It increases, not only brand awareness, it puts you in the consideration set. And what's fantastic is our creators are tech-enabled power partners. They're not social only. And so, for example, if I tell you about a pair of boots, example I love to use because I have a whole collection of boots.
You've got great boots on now.
Yeah, these are less for the ranch. The ranch boots, though, I do love. And cowboy boots are trending. Thank you, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. They're like trending globally. It's kind of fun. Lots of Texas boot companies, but I digress. If someone wants, to convince someone to be part of that consideration set about boots, that might happen on my, on my LTK, but that person's able to come back later and search and see those boots that I talk about all the times I wore them. So the platform is doing the work for creators. They're no longer having to be someone's Google of like, what are the boots that you wore and talked about that one time? Right. It's self-service. And so I think being that tech-enabled power partner is one of the biggest, I think, advantages as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we're short on time, but lastly, how can brands and creators be future-proofing and preparing as spend dramatically increases on the brand side?
Yes, and I realized I didn't totally finish your question about just sort of predictions. I think that dollars are rotating in because we now have the tools to equip these brands to make scientific choices and honestly to hit scale that they need. Brands now, creator is not a tactic, it's a full strategy, and it's not something candidly that internal teams can do on their own. They need technology to power it, and they need to be able to understand full funnel from impressions and engagements on down through sales, and they need to be able to find the right creators. It's no longer something where you can go and be like, oh, this person's cool or this person's trending. It's not enough just to scrape the internet to find out who has the most followers or who has a viral moment. You need better tools and equipping, and those tools have arrived, and that's why I believe that creators are winning more dollars. And them having that platform in the community and retaining that and growing that is what also allows them to continue to win those dollars. I think you're also going to see a divergence. This is a definite moment in time for our industry where there are social-only creators and there are tech-enabled creators. And this shift in AI is not something that's just impacting the largest companies in the world. This is not like a Salesforce problem. Like, this is a creator problem. This is a huge industry now. And it's being acknowledged everywhere. And to be tech-enabled will make the huge difference for those, like kind of the haves and have-nots in this industry of who they move forward. And so AI is going to play a bigger role, and I think it's different than what people expect. It's not just like making a cute emoji or like doing the captions on your video. It's actually just having an ecosystem of tools to bring a customer where you can retain them, retarget them, bring them back into your environment. Ask me your last question.
How should brands and creators be future-proofing? Which I think you started to get at.
Yes.
In that answer.
Yeah, it all, I believe, comes down to technology and leaning in. Candidly, like we're a decade in, but we're still a new industry. I think all the people in this room understand the importance of being together, understanding what the technology is, sharing information. Like, this conference is, we're 12 years in. It started for the same reasons that we still exist today, which is we are educating people about what's happening in the market so they can make the best decisions for their own businesses, but also connecting them with each other is one of the most powerful things they can do and better understand. We're a room of solopreneurs on the creator side, and on the brand side, this is both a new industry and there are massive expectations on these brand marketers. Their CMOs, their CEOs, their shareholders are all over them about what's happening in this space, and there's not like a textbook for them to learn. Like, they're learning on the fly. So I think being together is one of the most important things that we can do and share information and really develop ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great note to end on, but sounds
thank you,
lots
Maddie.
in store for
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
For unpacking the first day. Now on to day 2.
A whole nother day of content. We love to
Thank
see
you all.
it.